History has always validated Western Kenya's NABONGO MUMIA as the greatest king of the Abawanga, especially for his influence in pre-colonial and post-colonial Kenya. But what has become of the vast kingdom the first Wanga king NABONGO established? Dorcas Wanga brings you the story of the present kingdom and NABONGO Peter MUMIA II, who by history is the last king standing.
To say the Luo people are one nation is to deny the strands of diversity each of the 18 subgroups weave into the community's fabric. History records the strong resistance the Bukusu wielded against the British, and the Abawanga's paramount chief NABONGO MUMIA collaborated with their empire. One lesson has always been handed down to the Abawanga generations: the British didn't civilize us, we were civilized even before they came. When the British came to present-day Kenya in 1883, they found the Wanga kingdom as the only centralized and organized monarch. NABONGO MUMIA is the most prominent NABONGO in history. He was the first man to ride a bicycle and even own a rickshaw. NABONGO MUMIA's fathers were also great in equal measure. His fame largely spread because he reigned in an era of literacy. Ali Wamana, the Secretary General of the Council of Elders, notes that the kingdom from Wanga's era in the 100 to the Mumia's era in the early 1900s spread from Jinja, Uganda to Naivasha, with NABONGO gaining favor from the British. There have been 13 kings for the kingdom, with strong ties in Buganda and links with the Luo and the Tiriki dynasties. 9 of the kings have been buried here. 3 who have died of natural causes rest elsewhere.
Reigned a bit earlier, but his account is not very much known to the communities, except only a few people. Ashtawa is the father of the current king, who did not actually did much to the kingdom because he was dominant, because he was oppressed by the politicians.
NABONGO Peter MUMIA II is the last king standing. He ascended to the throne in 1974. However, from 1975 to 2004, the king worked as a trained accountant and was officially installed in 2010.
Mumia is Omumia, meaning we call Abateso Abamia. So when he was picked by a Teso woman, he was named Mumia. Currently, we insist that we don't want to hear Bob Morgan, Alex John, Hassan Juma, Abdul Muhammad. No, we have Abdul Muhammad Wekesa. Our names are one. And also, to name your child, you must respect also naming of your ancestors.
But today the Mwanga is part of a national administration. This is no longer NABONGO MUMIA's territory. What was a vast, expansive kingdom is now mostly part of Kakamega County, traversing Matungu, Mumias East, Mumias South and Butere, with very little influence stretching to neighboring sub-counties. NABONGO MUMIA wielded great administrative powers. So powerful was he that he could make decisions even about boundaries.
What we are saying, we should restructure our cultural institutions in this country so that we get proper recognition, and the government should have us properly put in the Constitution of Kenya, in that we can be able to say we exist.
He, however, in 2013 received the Head of State Commendation. Their history, past and present, is preserved in the Shembeho at the Matungu Mausoleum and Cultural Center. The biggest challenge is revenue to sustain it. One would pay 30 shillings to 50 shillings for a visit, and so far this has been the only steady and reliable revenue stream for the kingdom. Elders insist that this is a national treasure, and the generations must learn and be proud of where they are from. The elders preside over functions, offer counsel, and solve disputes. They also raise resources for their people, and they are part of the Nyumba Kumi initiative. I asked Hezrod Luther, the chairman, if the council, which meets quarterly or when need arises, has plans to include women and youth.
We are looking at the issues, even the youth. We are thinking about it. But the traditional leadership excluded women.
Do you think it was fair?
At that time, because it was a warlike kind of leadership. And normally you needed strong people who would go out and defend and fight for the community.
I'm involved in the African leadership, traditional leadership. I'm in the board, the executive board of the African Forum for Kings and Queens. So unless we are saying that Africa will not continue having kings, traditional kings, then that will be the end of that leadership in the whole world.
It is said that our legacy and our heritage is not given to us by our forebears, but it is loaned to us by our children. And for as long as this archive remains with the artifacts and the symbols of power, the legacy of the Nabongo can be passed down to future generations. Dorcas Wangira, KTN News, Nabongo Cultural Center, Matungu, Kakamega.